What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 377. It is another fine Sunday here with my hang boys, and we're going to be talking about video games, including, finally, after years and several weeks of review discussion, Crimson Desert. We're going to do our best to see if we can get the Bitcast community ready to kill Travis. So, the audience has been too friendly to him about this one, I think. And
Travis
so we need
is
to
just
figure
trying
that
to
one out.
save your time and money, folks. He's a man out there trying to keep you sane.
That's it. That's it. So we're going to be talking that. We're going to be talking the updates to Marathon, of course. We've got Starfield updates and Starfield launching on PS5. We've got a few other things to talk about. Some regulations on loot boxes. DLSS 5 is coming, and people are super excited about it. There's a lot of things to touch on. So I'm here with my boys. How we doing, Mr. Lawman?
I'm doing okay. It's my favorite sports weekend of the year. It's March Madness. My Michigan Wolverines are real good at sports in many venues, but in basketball this year. So I'm having fun with that. But in video game land, I've had a little bit more of a fractured experience this weekend. And one of those fractured experiences is the game that we were just talking about that Travis reviewed for IGN. And that's Crimson Desert. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'm eager to share them with you all so that I too can collect the fan mail that Travis has collected online.
Oh, fun.
Well, Travis only did his review after like 4 hours of play, so I can see why he's getting hate.
Does he even
but
know
he
how
is
to play
here.
games?
He's here. He's ready to talk about it finally after weeks. But how we doing, my man?
I'm
Been a
doing
good
okay.
week for you? Good few days?
Actually, yeah, it's fine. As you know, this stuff does not bother me at all.
Travis,
so
is it
it's
true that the
totally
check
fine.
from Korea bounced?
Yeah, sorry, I don't accept Korean. What are
Won?
they?
Is it
Won?
won?
I think it is
Yeah,
won.
I think it's won. Yeah.
See, if you're
Sorry.
gonna do the joke, you got to at least have the currency in your head, Travis.
I tried, but it's in the morning here. If it just escaped me, I don't know.
It's a good act not knowing how much he got for it. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I
Yeah.
see.
It was 352 million Korean won. Is that the number? Is it 345? What's Squid Game? That's the reference I want.
Oh,
Goodbye.
right.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big plastic piggy bank of currency. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what they dropped into Travis's
That's
house.
what they dropped. I was like looking up at the piggy bank as the, and then it only got halfway filled, and I said, "That's it. That's all you get." Then, unless you fully fill it, no good
Travis
score.
was willing to sell out for a lot less.
It's true.
But yeah, we'll be talking about all that, of course. So a couple things to mention real quick. If you missed it this week, we did finally stream together. The one issue, of course, is we couldn't get Travis's and Hoag's mics to come through on the stream, which was annoying. I promise we'll fix that for next time. But that stream is out there. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. I think at least on the SG side, I think I added it this morning, Hoag. Sorry about that.
My parents said they watched that, and they had no idea what was going on, but they watched.
Nice. All right. We had a good time, though. We had some laughs. And for Rick, I don't think I ever call you Rick. For Hoag, he said it was the first time he had extracted 2 times in a row from Marathon. And if I recall correctly, keep me honest, guys, we played 5 rounds. We extracted 4. We should have had 5. We slipped on the one, but otherwise we had.
I don't remember what happened during that one, but yeah,
we had.
We got into that bot room and we got separated, and the team jumped us. And
yeah.
I mean, that happens.
I also remember during that match, I kept clicking X to jump because of all the Crimson Desert I had been playing, which is not great. Yeah,
no, that's not.
And
good. But we had a good time.
I had not yet learned how interesting Crimson Desert's control scheme is.
We'll get there. Yes. We'll get there. That is out there, though. You can check that out. So thank you for everyone who swung by, had some laughs with us. And like I said, if you want to go back and see some of that, it's out there. Let's see. Just a reminder, anyone watching who super chats on the SG side, I do donate 25% of that to Extra Life. I always forget to mention that, and I added the Extra Life link in the description as well in case you want to check that out. So thank you as always there. Let's see. Let's get to Tide's picks, of course. And obviously, she did a Crimson Desert theme this week. So here we go.
I want to be a dragon. Oh, no. Okay.
You are not a dragon, my friend.
We're all Viking lords, Greymanes. Actually, we kind of look like we're, at least Ains and I, we look like we're part of the Bears.
You heard it here first, folks.
Fortunate.
So, Travis, I do like the look of having the collared shirt and tie with the fur. I think you need to bring that out more often in San Francisco. You got to do it.
I might buy a coat like that and just pop it. Also, I must point out that they made me an elf in this, which, in case you're curious, there are no elves in this game, which means that I am explicitly a goblin of some kind. Yet again, they think
but you could be one of those
I
14-foot tall ones.
Yeah, but those are kind of the same, aren't they?
Someone said, "Why is Hoag's head shrinking?" Your head does
That's
look
just happening in real life. The AI is just.
Hoag kind of looks like a melted candlestick in this one. He's not really doing too well. He's kind of falling apart, right?
I don't get a lot of sunlight in the Crimson Desert universe.
Yeah, apparently you look like me in real life. Yeah, it's not great. And I don't have a headset for once.
Sunlight. Oh, you don't? No, it's behind you.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on your collar.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I thought that was like a hood or something.
Yeah, no, don't worry. AI remembered, dude.
But I didn't know the AI knew what your ears looked like. So
there you go. Yeah, it's not bad actually. But thank you as always. Appreciate you. I love how it makes Travis a goblin no matter what game we're talking about. It's good stuff.
I kind of think Tie Guy Travis as his persona with the tie and the collared shirt should be added to every video game. I really like the juxtaposition.
Kind of like the what's the dude in Oblivion? The the guy who just shows up with the little blonde hair who follows you around.
The fan.
Oh, the
adoring fan.
Adoring fan. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be like that. You just kind of pop up on occasion. You know.
There's just a Travis.
I'm down. Look, that would increase my
sometimes
profile.
Sometimes he joins
quite
the party.
a lot.
Sometimes you shoot him.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that just the way with me?
I was gonna say a little too on the nose there.
On the huge nose.
Lastly, if you do hear a very slight echo at times, we apologize in advance. Hoag was having some headset issues just before the show, so he's kind of got the mic and speakers going on. We've tried to tune it before we went live here. We've got it, I think, in a good place, but it might be, especially if you're listening on audio, it might be there in the background slightly. So apologies in advance for that.
Yes, my old seasoned ears have them turned as low as possible so it doesn't reverb, but there'll probably be some.
Okay, cool. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into it, boys? Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss's game. They've been working on this for years. If you weren't aware, this was originally planned as an expansion to an MMO. It had an original release date when they announced this of 2023. This game is a long time in development, long time coming. I saw it at Summer Game Fest last year. It seemed to generate quite a bit of buzz. We've talked about this game on a few occasions of like, hey, there's a high interest in this game. And Travis had
such a high interest.
Yeah, huge. Because it's one of those games that comes along once in a while where it's like, oh, it's trying to do everything, quite literally everything. And Travis had the pleasure over the past few weeks, from what I understand, Travis, keep me honest here, to spend a couple hours in the game. And to kind of put your thoughts together, and that huge monumental effort over the past few weeks, which kept you from marathon and took over your life, has empowered people to want to kill you. So you've done it again, my friend.
That's right. I did it.
People already wanted to kill him. This just gave him a new reason.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. That is
Talk
true.
To us about this crazy-ass game.
I also just on the while we're on this tangent, I also received some returning customers in the I Want to Kill You club, which I think is the first for me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool. There's some overlap between.
Well, I think you saw me defending you online, Travis, which is not something I usually do. I usually join the pile-on.
Yeah, I remember. I actually did get your DM that I should kill myself, but I thought
only like 5 or 6 of those were alt accounts from me. I'm just trying to be honest.
That's fair. That's a lot of I actually talking about interest in this game, I received a record-breaking number of DMs in just 4 or 5 hours after the review came out. So there is a ton of interest around this game, and for whatever reason, a lot of people really jockeying for it, like who had not played it yet. Obviously, like my review went live the day before.
That's the fun of this whole thing, isn't it? The discourse.
Mm-hmm. There were a bunch of people, but I do think now that people have played it, they've sort of come around, a lot of them, and I think they'll go through a lot of the same emotions that I went through while playing the game, which is like, initial frustration with the controls, then you figure out the controls, and then you start to like it a little bit more. And then the longer you play, the more you start to notice kind of the bumps in the road and the holes and the shortcomings and that sort of stuff. And then you kind of end up where I end up, which if you didn't read my review, is a 6 out of 10, which at IGN means okay. It means not necessarily like a full recommendation of like this is a good game, but also not a bad game. It's quite far from being that. And that's sort of where I land on this one. Like, this game is awesome in a lot of ways. Like, its technical performance is unbelievable. It looks amazing. It runs really well. I played on PC. I heard that console version is less consistent, so I can't really speak to that. But
I was
at
going to
least
say,
on the
I'm
PC
playing on the
version,
PS5 Pro, and I don't quite match that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I've heard that the base consoles in particular are like pretty not
Pretty
great.
rough.
But again, I can't speak to that. We played on PC. They only gave us PC codes. My review is about the PC version. If you're not playing the PC version, I can't really speak to it in that regard. But what I can tell you is that even on the PC version, when it looks really good, it has a lot of the problems I imagine you're still going to have on console. For example, I was unable to complete the campaign on my original account. I got to a chapter where a bug happened that was game breaking, and it basically bricked my account after 80 hours. And the only reason I was able to continue is because Mitchell Saltzman and I had similar builds and were at a similar part of the campaign, and he copied a save file and gave it to me, and I just kept going. So like I was able to do that because of Mitchell and I playing like next to each other. If you're a normal player, you would have been screwed. And there were a couple times where stuff like that happened, where quests would break, or it's just a massive game. Like, it probably has over 200 hours of content in it if you went and did everything, maybe more than that. And that comes with certain like jankiness. That stuff is just there. But then there's also some stuff that even when it's working, it's not super good. And to be fair, some of this they're changing. They changed the fast travel points problem. There was an issue during the version of the game I played where all the fast travel points were far away from where you wanted them to be, and so you'd lose like minutes of time every single time you went to your camp or places you visit all the time. You just have to climb a freaking cliff or whatever. There were just all these really convoluted things that they fixed. There's also this problem with boss fights, where boss fights they just drag on way long, and the enemies have like attacks that seem like they were basically just meant to kill you or to hit you. And so the only way to get through fights is to like cook 50 stacks of meat. And so every time you go into a fight, you have to go hunting for animals and buy a bunch of raw meat from a butcher and cook it all up in a stupid cooking mini game. And then not even really a mini game, just like a loading screen that has you cooking food. And then you bring it all into the boss fight, and then you just chomp it down while you're getting through the fight. Like stuff like that, where it's just like, man, this game is very uneven and a little bit janky at times, and it just has a ton of potential, but it pales in comparison to a lot of the games that it's clearly going after, right? Like, it has the up in the sky, down on the ground thing is Tears of the Kingdom. Doesn't do that part as well as Tears of the Kingdom. It also doesn't do like the puzzles part as good as Tears of the Kingdom. The puzzles are pretty janky and not always well explained. And then even when you figure it out, you're like, oh, that didn't really feel good, right? It has some of that. It's kind of like The Witcher, except the story is absolutely god awful. One of the worst narratives like I can remember in recent memory. Definitely the worst story I've played in 2026 for sure. So you're never going to get that part of it. So like, I think the things I really like about this game are the fact that it just goes balls to the wall and tries everything. It's got mini games where you can arm wrestle, and you can get into a gambling den, and you can fight people in the streets, and you can get on your horse and just go and explore. But I would kind of describe this game as like a mile long and an inch deep. Like, it does a ton of stuff, but a lot of the stuff it does, like once you really start to dig into it, you're like, okay, it's not really super well designed, or it's not as deep as I would want it to be, and it kind of limits my ability to really have fun spending a ton of time there. And so I spent 130 hours for my review. My review in progress came out after 110 because I did not beat the story within that time. So again, this is a massive game. I had to play another 20 hours to like top it off.
I saw 130 was in your final.
Yeah, 130 hours in my final, and I'm actually still playing because I have to do some guides. So like, I have a ton of time in this game. I have a lot of opinions about it. And the other thing is that the game is changing in real time. The bug that I encountered that caused my save file to be bricked is already fixed in this version. That said, I happen to already know that there are other ones. I encountered a bug in the epilogue that made it so I couldn't finish the part of the game where you're like just talking to all the people you met along the way and like getting your final convo with those guys. So like this game is a little rocky. I hope that they'll fix it up. But even if they do fix it up, I do think that there are some like fundamental things that they won't be able to fix. I don't think they'll be able to fix the story. I would be shocked if they were able to fix the boss fights to any satisfaction, because they kind of seem pretty baked into the design. And then there's other stuff I haven't talked about here that you can read in my review, but like I had some other criticisms for this game as well. If you're okay with jank and you just want this massive open world thing to go and do and be surprised by all the stuff they managed to cram in there, then maybe this game's for you. But if you're looking for a polished replacement or next best thing for Witcher, this is not it. Go play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's my review.
It is definitely not Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Not many things are.
All
Hope, one note. Oh, sorry. Just before, because I haven't played it. So you guys, this is your guys' topic for sure. The only thing I want to mention, which I find funny as we get into this and Hogue gives his thoughts too, is we see this a lot with these games where these big open world RPGs, regardless of what type of game, 100+ hour games come out. You review a lot of them, Travis, and spend the time. Mm-hmm. We see other critics and reviewers do this. I've done it myself on a handful of occasions where you put so much time and these games are so big and so massive. And like a day after launch, what are we now? 3 days after launch, people have played 10 hours, 15 hours.
Yeah.
And I think I'd Hogue, no idea how much time you have, but I'm sure you're about to kind of give your impressions on the early state of this game. But what I try to remind people of, never does any good, but try to remind people is reviewers like Travis have played the entire experience, beginning to end, full story. They've seen a bunch of things you haven't. And so he's encapsulating his 6 out of 10 or whatever review, or 5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever it is. They're encapsulating the entire experience. And with a game like this, I try to remind people, because I've seen some other people say they've played 15 hours and they love it, or they've played 15 hours and they hate it. It's like you've still only seen 5 to 10% of the game. You know what I mean? You don't know how that story shapes up. It may be good at the beginning and absolutely terrible in the second half. You know what I mean? And that full picture of the experience isn't there. So if you, to Travis's point, if it's the type of game you just want to get lost in and have fun with, great. If it's something you're looking for, like the story, which I think almost universally from what I've seen has been said to be terrible.
Even the people who gave an almost perfect score said that the story was bad. They just admitted that they didn't care that it was bad.
That's an interesting aspect of the reviews I was going to bring up. Is that
Crimson
Desert
please.
Reviews are really interesting to me because they absolutely highlight what different people value, which is totally okay. There aren't objective reviews to art. We've talked about this at length. But yes, even some of the 9s and 10s are like, with such an ambitious and expansive project and such a big world to explore, who cares if it's just wasting your time with nonsense story? It's like, okay, I mean, that's fine. That's a stance that I can understand and discount because I care. But I get how you got there. And I do think that the combat is more responsive and engaging than the Kingdom Comes and the Witchers of the world, which are focused more on putting you in that immersion in that world. And Crimson Desert, I have only played maybe a dozen hours at this point. I'm midway through chapter 2. Crimson Desert
has left you speechless.
Has left me speechless. It really has, right? Because I started this game up. I was like, all right, Travis gives it a 6. Let's see what it's got in there. And I think it's pretty immediately more impressive than that number suggests for like a minute, because I was expecting it to be less of a slow walk, Breath of the Wild meets Red Dead Redemption wants to be Witcher kind of thing. And the very, very opening is, welcome to this world. We're going to immerse you in it. And I'm there. I'm in for it. But the actual onboarding in the game is really, really, really bad. You actually don't have to commit to any kind of combat interaction for a long time after that initial part. And when Travis says the story is bad, I think people sometimes think of their favorite, like, bad movie or even bad video game, where it's like, okay, so this is actively unwell. The writing is bad. The prose is bad. What have you. This one is like anti-good or bad. It's not even trying to tell you a story. It's like little one-line offs that honestly sound like they could have come straight from ChatGPT. And it's not engaging at all in the most minor of respects, at least for me. And so that's like the pinnacle of bad, because you feel nothing at all. But I think other people are saying, well, it's not that bad because it's just didactic. It's just, oh, well, go to the cave, go to the tower. And yeah, that's a kind of story. But it's really awful in that way. And then you throw on
It's true. Hoagie gets so much worse. Like the beginning was the part where I was still giving a chance. By the second half of the game, like the stuff that they do in the narrative is like, bro, like, dude, what are we doing here, guys? Like, this is just, it gets really bad.
Yeah, and you can see that it's a different culture than the West. Like, it's already doing some kind of strange Asian tropes. I love a jank game. I do, Travis. And in general, I think of them as Eurojank. That's where I've played most of them from. And the big problem with jank games for me is that, just like you said, you don't get that satisfying click when you solve a puzzle because they just didn't polish it right. And you don't quite know whether something is broken when you're trying to solve something, or you're trying to advance the plot or the quest or whatever. And that's what gets you, is that this thing really does feel like it's broken half the time. And I've had 3 hard crashes already. Like, something's wrong with the PlayStation kind of crashes, which is really off-putting in the console space especially. I'm a little bit more lenient in the PC space. And so I'm doing nothing, right? Like, trying to exit the map, and it's just like, and PlayStation says, you really need to turn us off properly. It's like, I didn't try PlayStation. So I struggle with it, because there are aspects of it where it's like, I want to see what's over that hill. I want to see what kind of weird mining thing you've put in here. I want to see what you're doing. I do actually like the combat somewhat. And it's great that you have a big world, but if everybody is just going to talk to me with the same generic lines, and if I get a quest, it's going to be 2 non sequiturs and then a didactic go to the tower, I'm not that invested. So I know I'm going to fall off this really quick, but it's a shame from my perspective, because it does seem like there's some interesting stuff there, and I wish I liked it more.
Yeah. That's basically where I'm at. Like, a 6 out of 10 again is not a bad score. Like, there's some stuff in this game that I really enjoyed. Like, it has one of the better skill trees. I talk about that in my review. Like, a lot of the skill trees, the skills that you can unlock in the skill tree are like game-changing stuff, where you can like grapple people and do like pile drivers on them, and like throw them against a wall, and you get a grapple hook, and like you're unlocking stuff where you're like, oh, this is like big stuff that's going to change the way I play the game. But it just has a lot of areas that it misses in. And some people, look, there were people who, well, I don't want to say they finished the game, because I think I'm the only reviewer who actually did. But there were a lot of people who played like over 100 hours, like played a lot of the game and liked it a lot. They gave Paul Tassi, my buddy, he gave it a 95. I think he's crazy. I think that's not the score I would ever give this game. And
he likes to be contrarian.
Yeah, a little bit. Also, he admits that he doesn't use the bottom half of the review scale because he thinks that it means something different than what it means. But anyway, that's a philosophical difference. But yeah, I think there's going to be people that really like this game because they're willing to overlook the jank, and also things are getting fixed. So who knows what this game will look like in 6 months, right? That's the other thing. And then there's people that are just going to like really slide off of this thing because it just, there's certain key areas. Like, I was with you, Hogue. The combat feels good in the beginning. Then you play a couple boss fights, you get into the story, you start doing war encounters, and then you're like, all right, I hate this. At least that's the way I went. Like, it started off pretty strong, and then like by the end of the combat was like no longer in the positive column for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, think, what have I done? I've done the onboarding fight. That's what I'm responding to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already nerfed that first boss because everybody during the review was complaining about it. I actually got through that one fine, but like, I get why people are complaining about it, because suddenly it's like, hey, here's a whole Souls-like encounter with 3 forms, and one of which he has an immune phase that lasts like 4.5 minutes, and you're just getting shit on, and you have to keep healing up. It just like throws that at you out of nowhere. Like, the game goes from Dynasty Warriors to like S tier difficulty Souls like out of nowhere, just like on chapter 3, just does that, and then it keeps doing that to you. Like every chapter, it'll just give you this massive boss where you're like, "What is this? This shouldn't even be in this game." But they already nerfed that first one, and who knows how many of the other ones they're going to nerf. Like I have a feeling the bosses in chapter 7 are going to get nerfed because that one was hilariously difficult for a lot of our review team. Like they just couldn't get past it. The guides team just couldn't get through that fight. And Mitchell Saltzman and I got through it, but even we were like, that was bullshit. Like that was not a fun encounter. So
that's actually probably the most common kind of thought I have so far with the stuff I'm doing in the game. Like that's BS. Like that, like every little point that could be polished is instead full of friction. You have to get a little bit too close to the person to talk to them. You have to hold down a button sometimes, but not other times. The special moves, you have to hold down 2 buttons and release one and then hold the other one and release it. It's like just a whole bunch of crap that seems like it just actively does not care about you, the player. And that might be fine for a number of folks. I really don't want every control scheme to just become the same. I'm not that guy. But some of these things seem like, why are you making me do this? And I always am trying to think through what is the game design here. And it's clear that the makers of Crimson Desert just have a different philosophy than I do on some of the things that are happening in game.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the control mapping because I think that's the one thing everybody who's played this game knows is like not great, and they've already said they're going to make changes to it. But like, yes, during the review period, I had like so many notes about this. Like, dude, there's an entire button dedicated to changing the player perspective. The select or options button or whatever. It changes the player perspective. Button,
yeah.
It's like, yo, put that in settings. Nobody's changing player perspective every 4 seconds. Like, just put it in settings if people want to change player perspective, and use that button as a dedicated map button. Left option button for map, start for inventory. That's the move, guys. Come on. Like that one was easy. You didn't have to.
You got to hold down the button and then use the directional pad to select map.
Yeah, I also love the acceleration.
You can't just hit a button to go to the map?
No, you
no, there's not a 1-button map, I don't think, unless it's the last thing you did.
No, it just goes to the inventory / it's all one menu, and there's only one way to get to it, and it's unspecific. And then also you get to the map names, and on controller it has this hilarious acceleration issue where you're like, all right, I want to move to the left, and I'm at the end of the map. It's just completely, dude, it's so funny the stuff in this game. But I mean, I will say this game consistently made me laugh. Like when it was screwing up and things were going wrong, like I was usually laughing. There were a couple times where D had to come into the room and check on me because I was screaming at my computer monitor over something. But usually it's just funny, like the stuff going wrong. Yeah, but that said, I have a very high tolerance for what I consider funny. Like I think pain is funny, so maybe don't listen to me on that one.
Good friend of mine, Andres, who has been on the show, actually. He was playing it the other day and checking out. He posted, he said, I just spent 30 minutes walking in Crimson Desert. There was literally nothing. Pretty fields, no chests, no dungeons, no enemy camps, nothing. And I've seen that some of the exploration can be unrewarding in this. Is that fair, or what's that like?
It's interesting because early on, I kind of felt like that, where I was like, oh, I don't really know what to do or what looks like a puzzle or whatever. But the longer you play the game, the more you sort of know what is like window dressing and what is actually something for you to interact with. And then once you start to intuit that stuff, it feels less empty. So that's not one I harped on in my review because I actually do think that the map does have quite a bit to do. That said, it is an enormous map, and I think it's probably like 40% larger than it needed to be to fit all the stuff that it has in it. So it just has like empty spaces. But like you're walking around town, people are doing things in the town. They're going about their day. They seem to follow a schedule. Like if you tell a companion that like is living near camp to go and build a house as part of like a companion caravan quest, you can follow them during the day. They wake up in the morning and they go and start building the house. And then they come home at night. Like they go and like do the schedule and stuff like that. So there's like little stuff like that where you're like, that's really cool. Like they worked on that. You can run around and find puzzles, and you start to recognize like, oh, when I see an ore marker, that's a thing. Certain ore is gonna, if I have a right move, I can pierce through it and then find like a secret cave. Like that stuff is in there, and I think it becomes more apparent when you're looking at something that is worth chasing and exploring, and when it's just like a bunch of trees that you should pass up. And over time, I started to just understand what that looks like. But yeah, it does have a lot of filler. I mean, this game in general is like a game defined by its filler, right?
It sounds like MMO-ish.
Yeah,
it is MMO-ish.
I think of it, it does have MMO DNA, but I think of it like a buffet where it's like there's tons of food and diverse options there, but very little of it is like amazing, right? It's just sort of buffet food. It's like, all right, I'm here, I have unlimited choice, but you know, it's not as good as Tears of the Kingdom and the salad bar. It's not as good as Witcher and the pasta corner. It's just it just doesn't do that stuff. This metaphor is tortured. I'm sorry. That's where I landed with this one. And look, reasonable minds can differ. People can disagree on this one. There's a lot of reviewers I respect who disagree with me on this one. I respect them less now, but they do disagree with me.
I mean, it does seem to be connecting with some people legitimately. Like it's not just an illusion. I haven't gotten there yet, but when I see those responses, that's the kind of thing that does keep me going through the wall of I'm going to fall off this thing. Is let me see if I can find this fun and that people are getting into. Even in our chat, you've seen people already say Crimson Desert is fire and things like that. It's like, it's not been my experience yet, but I keep turning it on because I keep looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you weren't alone, right? I mean, we say this all the time. IGN is the biggest kind of media reviewer in the space, so they get the most attention. But I went through Open Critic and I read, people who I know or different major outlets. There's plenty of other people that gave it 6s or 5s even. But there's other people who gave it 9s, and we knew coming in this type of game is always going to generate this type of response. Like it's
the Steam user review was at like a 57% after the first couple of days, and I was like, that's rounded up to my score, like 6 out of 10. it almost was exactly at the 60% mark. So
I just can't trust the Steam user reviews though, because
no, you shouldn't.
It doesn't work in my configuration or
exactly. Yeah, there were a lot of like people just like raging at it, and I think that score probably will go over time as the hate dies down and all that. But look, I think it's an okay game. That's where I stand on it. That's not a diss. I'm not hating you for like it. To me, it's just sort of, it's in the middle. Not quite good, not bad.
Yeah, it's one I said that it feels like it's going to be at least a better game. I don't know if a good game or a great game or whatever. It's going to be a better game 6 months from now. And so it'll also be cheaper too. And I'm addicted to Marathon, which we'll get to in a second again. But yeah, I'm waiting on it. That's why I haven't played it. I would like to check it out at some point, but I don't have a big interest in it. These massive games, unless they're really like a KCD 2, where it's like incredible, right? From a story perspective and character perspective. 100-hour plus RPG doesn't do it much for me. I save those for the ones I really, really love. There's just too much to play.
No, and that's the truth. Yeah. It's like it's playing against everything else in your library that you probably haven't beaten.
Yeah, I mean, I just played Resident Evil Requiem. You can finish that in 10 to 12 hours, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, why would I spend 100 hours walking around a world that isn't doing anything for me? Doesn't make any sense. So,
there are no giant tortoises with the Pope hat. I looked.
Yeah, see?
It's
never going to match it.
There might not be any tortoise popes, but there are just random gods and goddesses that'll shoot you to different universes and not explain anything at all about what's happening.
Correct. Very true. Oh my God, Hogue. I know you're going to drop off this game, but I would love to see a reaction to getting to the end. I would love to see a reaction to the final like 2 hours of this game, like the boss fight that happens, and that I would just. Oh God, that would satiate me in ways that would just. Oh man.
I mean, there's almost no chance I'm going to get to the end of this game, but I can appreciate what you're saying. You have not sold me on the it's worth my time investment, but that's
the over/under percentage on you finishing this Hogue is 0.1%.
Oh,
it's never going to happen.
Generous. There are games I adore that I drop off of in the middle.
Oh, we're well aware, sir. We're well aware. Oh, man. Oh, that's good. So, again, you can target your hate and your death threats. I'll get you Travis's address. I'll put that down in the description so you have it. Where he
take out all the San Francisco.
Car, license plate. Yeah, he's in there somewhere. Yeah, so you can
find him. Yep, find me. Send me your hate. I accept it. Doesn't bother me. I would rather me receive the hate mail than somebody who would care about it. So, come at me, bro.
I mean, realistically, on the discourse, the thing that bothers me the most is that all that happens, as you say, like your review comes out the day before it comes out. all this hate that I'm seeing online, and I'm not in your DMs, but all that I'm seeing publicly is like the day before the game releases and the day the game releases. Like nobody could possibly have a reasoned opinion on whether or not you're a lying shill that sold out or didn't sell out properly or what have you at that point in time. Like, guys, I understand being excited for things. I like to be excited for things, but don't let it so dominate your social personhood that you say, oh, this person didn't like this thing. He must be somehow deficient as a human being.
Yeah. I mean, I am
separate topic for Travis, but
separate topic. I am deficient as a human being, but that's
there's many other reasons to get Travis, but this is not one of them. It's certainly not
I'm an easy target, man. I mean, go look at my comedy career. I've said some stuff that could cancel me right now. But clips. Pull up some clips. You'll hate me immediately. I did get some satisfaction and amusement out of stuff like the Asmongold video somebody sent me. It's like, I think it was Ames was the first one to send it to me, where it's like my face and it says embarrassing. And it's a 20-minute video of him just watching my review in progress interview with my editor, Tom, and scoffing at everything I said. And then he immediately posted that video and then played 7 hours of the game on his stream. And then at the end of that, he gave his thoughts, and his thoughts were everything I said in my review in progress, word for word. He complained about the controls. He complained about the jankiness. He like literally went through all that stuff. Did he issue a correction to me? No. Did he take down his video that says embarrassing, that has my face on his thumbnail? No. This is the world we live in. We live in a world where people act recklessly, and you never get the comeuppance. There's not that satisfying loop, but I see it. I see the loop, and I'm okay with it. We're fine.
Yeah. I mean,
you can all be nicer out there, folks, is what I'm saying. And maybe not to Travis. I'm not saying Travis deserves your niceness, but you don't just jump down his throat when you haven't played the thing first.
I mean, or you can. Look, I'm a reviewer. That's part of the job, and I'm equipped for it. I don't care if you say mean things to me. Come at me, bro. But part of the job is also to state your feelings and do the best that you can about giving a qualitative assessment to a piece of art, which is inherently subjective and is going to be a tough thing to do, especially when the art in question is changing on the fly. And that's going to cause some people to be upset. And look, I'm just out here doing my best, man. I'm telling you how you feel about the stuff that I play.
We all? Yes, what you saw online, my defense of you was, well, that's a completely inaccurate assessment of what reviews are supposed to do, because they're like, IGN gave Concord a 7 and Highguard a 7, and those games failed. It's like, what do you think the job is?
Yeah, my job is to figure out if a game is going to be popular. Yeah, apparently. No, and I appreciate you pointing that out, because that was a top comment, right? Is people comparing to games that didn't do well. It's like, oh, well, you reviewed Highguard, you gave Highguard a good score. It's like, yeah, I thought Highguard was good. I also thought this game is not going to last very long. But good games die all the time, and bad games become successful. That just happens sometimes. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and I played Concord so much in the first 2 weeks because it was almost instantly obvious that it wasn't going to last. I didn't think it was going to be pulled like Sony did. But, there's lots of things out there in the world, books, movies, television shows, video games, that find success that maybe are not super high quality, and certainly the opposite.
Yeah. Twilight, dude. Twilight was a successful franchise.
Successful. I mean, massive
success. And they are not good. I mean, they are bad, guys. They're not good. Read them. I read them. They're terrible. So my point is, bad things can be popular and good things can be unpopular.
I wasn't trying to get you more hate mail, Travis.
I'm sorry. You know who disagrees with me on this one? My wife. But then I ask her to justify why she likes them, and then she basically tacitly admits that they are bad, but that she likes them. To be clear,
do you go up to your wife and say, defend this?
No, we just talk about it. Like, I bring up specific grievances in the story and plot and the writing, and then she has no comeback except for, but they're hot. And I'm like, okay, fair.
I think the can't really argue with that logic. Of literature is a whole nother conversation. We can get those DM death threats on another show.
I'm down. Yeah. I'm down.
Bert says I'm more concerned about Travis reading Twilight.
Yeah, I mean, look, when there's something really popular, I want to be in on it, just so that, like worst case scenario, I can make jokes about it, right? That's where my mind is at. Is I just want to be in the lexicon, and so I read all the Twilight books, and I was
I got to tell
horrified that they were popular.
I'm playing Crimson Desert on day one out of the desire to prove Travis wrong. I'm sitting down going like, he must have screwed this up. And when the game first starts and you get the nice camp scene and you get the first battle and all this stuff, I'm like, oh, this is going to skew higher than 6, right? And then I'm left wandering around for 10 hours and have 3 crashes and say, okay, all right. Chances are this is not going to round into form.
Yeah. Also, to be clear, most people, if they encountered a game-breaking bug that bricked their save file after 80 hours, would not give it a 6. They would give it a 4 or lower.
I didn't know that
I didn't
part of
do
the
that.
story. It's
all right. I held on to it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to assume that is going to be patched, but that there's other stuff like it out there that I didn't encounter. And I'm just going to push forward. Right. I'm just saying, I did try on this one, guys. I really did. And I'm actually proud of the work that we did. And I'm proud of the final review. So I'm happy for people to come after me over it.
By the way,
including
I just
you,
want to say I did
love you, buddy.
I did watch, what's the second Twilight movie? Bad Moon or something? It's got Moon in it, right?
New. Is it New?
New Moon?
New
Bad
Moon.
Moon? I said Bad
New
Moon,
Moon.
but you see where
New
my
Moon.
mind was going.
Bad Moon Rising.
New Moon.
Just a big
one of the most comically hilarious movies I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, I mean, they are unintentionally...
before the rendered baby, right?
I don't remember. It's many years ago now. But I was specifically like Will Ferrell and Step Brothers looking at Patricia like, what is this? What's happening? Like, this is so bad.
Yeah. Sometimes something's so bad it becomes an instant classic.
It is kind of actually bad. But that's what I was warning people about with Crimson Desert. It's like, yes, I too can... I think hate is too strong a word, but I can watch a bad movie like Twilight and enjoy the badness. That badness is not in Crimson Desert. It's just nothing as a story.
It's like I felt this and felt nothing. I played this and felt
you start to reflect
nothing.
on the human experience and how you found yourself in front of the screen doing this.
Yeah. I do agree with the ChatGPT statement. And now that we know that they used AI for some of their stuff, I'm wondering how much of it was written by AI, because it feels like no person sat down and wrote that because they would have immediately noticed like inconsistencies. Like
it wouldn't surprise me if they used it for translation. I mean, like that's where
possibly,
I could see it.
But I don't think the translation is the problem. So part of this review process, we played for 2 days and then they deleted our accounts because they had to roll an update that just wouldn't let our accounts work. So I got to play the game for 2 days and then they deleted my account and then I started over. And after the 2 days, I was talking to Dee about the story and she was asking me questions about it. And I was like, actually, you're right. That doesn't really make any sense. I was like realizing. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? When they let us start again, I'm going to start writing down everything that happens in the main story. Like I'm going to take detailed notes. I'm going to write all the character names. I'm going to read the codex. Like I'm going to do that stuff. And I'm going to see if it makes sense. It does not make sense. Like logically, like if you just track what the story they're trying to tell you, that's what makes me like a little eyebrow raisy about it. But again, like the story just is bad. You might not care about that, but it is. It's just bad. Even the people who love this game agree that the story is just like real bad. It's not good.
Sorry, I had to mute. My dogs came down barking and jumping like they want to go outside, and not right now. Anyway, there was something else I was going to say. Yes, without spending a lot of time on it, since we've already talked quite a bit about Crimson Desert, the AI art has been found in the game, right? In fact, a buddy sent me a picture of a artwork in the game. Now, most people probably won't look at that artwork closely, but still, one of the most hilarious pictures of artwork in a game I've ever seen. It's like combining horses and people and legs, and there's just like molds of things all over. And I'm like, what in the living hell is that? So now
they did address that earlier today. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, they posted about it. They said like, yeah, we did use AI for like assets, and we were supposed to take them out, but it kind of reads like we got caught. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but yeah, they did finally address the fact that people are calling them out for it.
It's just unclear because like it's clear now that all the devs are using essentially temp track art made by AI. Like you see that a lot. We saw it last year with the altars for like some of their computer screens. Like that's clearly happening as part of the dev cycle, and it's supposed to come out. And so I don't know whether to say that Pearl Abyss was trying to get AI art directly in the game or they just missed their process.
Yeah. It sounds like this game was pretty fast. I don't fast and loose. I don't know if you guys have been following, but some of their developers have been posting like basically whistleblowing on the way this game was made and the process it was made by, and they're doing it in Korean and then people are translating it, but there's some pretty surprising
egregious
stuff out there. Yeah. Like, or I was just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Some stuff. Yeah. Especially funny enough, relating to the story. Apparently there was a lot of debate and arguments and strife internally around the story, and the story they only tried to piece together in the last year, which would explain a lot from what you guys have said. Again, I haven't played it, but just going on what was said. I got a question from our good friend Bert here. Hold on, I'm trying to, things jumping all over. Travis, I guess this is for anyone too. Can you think of a game where the story was amazing, but the rest of the game falls apart?
Most of the people accuse Witcher of doing this.
I don't think that's
crazy.
Like good enough example. Ooh, give me some time on that. I'm absolutely certain that there's a game I've reviewed before where that was the case, where you're like pushing through bad gameplay to get to a good story. I have like distinct memories in my mind of like me feeling that way about a game. Like, man, if only I could get through this crap, it would be cool to see what happens. Let me get back to you. I'm gonna think about that one. Yeah. Interesting question. Do you guys have any examples? No.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think too. My library is like 4s and 5s and 6s where I like the story. my go-to is a game called Headhunter from back in the PlayStation 2 days that I adored the story of. That is probably an actively bad video game experience vis-a-vis interactivity. But I love the story.
I guess I feel that way about a lot of JRPGs where the like gameplay doesn't click. A lot of JRPGs have like interesting stories hidden behind like a bunch of
if you don't like turn-based combat, you're gonna have to fight through that for some of those, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, that's Crimson Desert. Thank you for the thoughts, of course. We've got a couple super chats I've been sitting here to get to. We'll grab those real quick. If you have any specific questions about Crimson, obviously you've got Travis and Hogue here have played it, Travis, with a ton of time.
So you got Travis much more than Hogue, but yes.
Oh, Dano, that's a good example of Dano. Borderlands 3 comes to mind. Great game. Story and characters are annoying as hell.
But that's the opposite of what was.
That's the opposite. He wants great story, bad gameplay.
All right. Disregard the last 10 seconds.
I'm trying to think of a specific example of that, because I do think it's more common for the story to be good or for the game to be good and the story to be whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's get
the PlayStation 2 era. I feel it was absolutely right for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You're also right that there's a lot of indies that come up with really good stories. Like, what was that detective one that came out last year, Hogue, that you and I played, where you were solving a murder? The game just didn't work. Oh man, this is
I'm solving so many murders, Travis. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that sounds like every week for Hogue. So
it's not detective because he's awesome.
I'm thinking about this.
I'm gonna get
if
these
you haven't
super
played
chats.
the Duck Detective games, they're cute little cartoon farm animals. The Duck Detective is fully voiced, speaks in a noir.
I've seen them. I've not played them.
Absolutely fantastic juxtaposition with good puzzles.
Puzzles I would like. I'm not a big puzzle guy.
I'm never gonna be able to find this game in Google because it's too indie.
They're the Obra Dinn, Rise of the Golden Idol type puzzles. You know, the fill in the blanks and deduct.
Okay, all right,
good
stuff. That's not bad. Okay,
right. Duck Detective people. It's an accidental Hogue's
Trick. You guys ever play Ghost Trick? Yeah,
yes, I remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's made by the Ace Attorney guy, and that's a good example of like the story in that game is truly S tier. It's so freaking good, but you do have to get through kind of old school brain like puzzles that are sometimes pretty irritating because they're really
they are a little bit read my mindy.
Yeah, that you got to figure out the way that they wanted you to solve it rather than the way that you figure it could be solved. So that's maybe a good example just off the cuff of that. Ghost Trick, like if you can push through the kind of janky puzzle gameplay, like the story in that game is it will stick with you for a very long time.
Yeah, I'll grant that.
Good game.
I don't think it's like awful gameplay, but it is a little bit.
I don't think so either, but it is well below the story that you're getting out of the gameplay.
Okay. Travis, let's hit these couple super chats real quick.
Okay. Sandal _ with _ DLSS 5 _ on offers €2. Enchantment.
I want to see that character with DLSS 5 now.
Sorry, I said it with a question mark, and it should have been enchantment. There we go.
There you go.
That's right. You just bought one, man.
Yeah. That's after you say yes to his prompt. Do you want to?
Oh my God. That's good. Thank you as always. We know that's our friend who comes up with these brilliant super chats often. Checking in with our fourth Bitcast member here. At
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Hi all. Someday my Crimson Desert Collector's Edition will arrive. Distraught crying face. Until then, Greedfall, The Dying World.
It's okay, Greedfall is my nominee for good story, bad game.
Oh, that's a great example. That's actually perfect. Yeah, good story, bad game. Greedfall, The Dying World. It's much better than people say, but still too early.
Even I was scared off a Dying World, Don, so more power to you.
Yeah, it's a little janky. That studio is like this is my experience with them, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if it's true, but like every time I interact with them, they are super behind schedule. Like I did a preview with them once and they were like, we'll get you B-roll. And then like 3 months went by and we kept checking in, like, where's the B-roll? And they were just like, I think that studio is just constantly behind schedule. So it does not surprise me at all that they went to early access and people's reaction was, this feels too early. Yeah.
They are super ambitious. They are probably the kings of modern day Eurojank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also kind of Knights of the Old Republic as well.
Great story bag. See, I like that combat system.
That's hard to go back to that era. I mean, now, but
I think
Hoag's right though. That early 3D era is probably where you're going to find a lot of those games because the early 3D they were figuring a lot of stuff out, gameplay wise. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you. Funny enough, I got a notice that my Crimson Desert Deluxe Edition was ready to be picked up, and I was like, I don't remember ever ordering this. That's just what I do.
Bought one for you.
Yeah, so maybe I'll go pick it up. Maybe I'll cancel it. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't even know what's in the deluxe edition of this thing. Is there a statue of a raven?
I'm a steelbook hoarder, so there's a steelbook. There's some other stuff. Whatever. It's apparently worth money. Like people are looking for it because the game's so popular. But I'm like, I don't really care.
It is insanely popular. Playing it. Congratulations, Pearl Abyss marketing department. Just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
One thing that is interesting, and I'm not going to say that Crimson Desert is necessarily like a use case for this, but it is weird that with like Unreal Engine 5, engines are becoming so good that you can make a bad game look like a high budget good game. This happens sometimes with games I review. I reviewed an alien invasion game called Gray something. I can't really remember what it was, but
yeah, I remember.
It looked really good, and the trailers looked like it was a high budget game, and they had like really good lighting. And usually, you used to be able to tell if a game was going to be like high budget based on its lighting, and now you can't because every game can have good lighting if they just have the right engine. And so it can be kind of hard to identify like a bad game because a lot of them can look convincingly like good high budget games just based off of the underlying software, which is kind of an interesting new problem. I feel like reviewers are going to be more important than ever, not necessarily IGN reviewers, but like people trying out these games and telling you if they're legit or not is going to be a useful skill,
I have noticed the same, which is that, if you regularly go through the storefronts, you used to be able to use an instinct of, okay, that game looks expensive enough that there's a publisher involved. Somebody was making sure this thing wasn't completely broken. And as it stands now in 2026, it is clear that tiny budget, we don't actually care about polish or whether we delivered a final product to you that isn't broken is something that is required to make something look good. So you've got trailers and things where like that actually passes the smell test for probably functions to me. And I'm getting a few more what I call flyers, right? The random things you buy that you've never heard of before that are like, oh, that's absolute junk.
Yeah.
Lucius, Shout out to Lucius. Hope you're well, man. He said, Lost Soul Aside also looked like it was going to be great, but very much not good.
Lost Soul Aside is the exact game that I think of when I play Crimson Desert right now.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, let's jump over real quick on Marathon. So we talked about Marathon a lot last week. We're not going to rehash our thoughts. If you want to know our kind of deeper thoughts on Marathon, we talked about it for a long time last week. Yeah. So this week, if you didn't know, they had this cadence of release of this game as it launched. And so on Friday, they launched the 4th map in the game, which really functions almost like a you can see the Destiny raid vibes coming through from Bungie here. It's a very end game area. It's meant to be taken in as a team. There's lots of puzzles to figure out. And so they had one of their classic kind of races with these big streamer teams, Shroud and his group. Is it Aztec Cross or Aztec Cross? One of the
Aztec Cross, my boy.
Aztec Cross. His group. There was a bunch of them, right? And I watched a ton of that on Friday and into Saturday. And they now several people and teams have actually figured it out, gotten to the boss, beaten the boss, all that stuff. But anyway, and then yesterday on Saturday, they launched ranked mode as well. And the ranked mode in this game is very uniquely designed. I checked it out briefly last night. But anyway, Marathon, kind of the full launch experience is now there. And I know we wanted to talk about some of the thoughts. So I'll just tell you guys, part of the reason I didn't buy Crimson Desert or play anything else is because I'm still hopelessly addicted to Marathon. I think yesterday I passed 100 hours in it from the launch version, not just the pre-release stuff. And so I've continued to play this game all the time and continue to love it. But the interesting thing, a couple interesting points I know you wanted to touch on, Hogue, about cryo and ranked. So some of the stuff we're hearing, first of all, is that ranked and cryo are purposely only available on the weekends or for limited times between Friday and Monday. There's certain time structures they have there. The reason, according to Bungie, are twofold. One, for ranked, they said that season 1 ranked is purely in testing. They're going to be refining it, changing the rules, all kinds of things over season 1 to get ranked into a long-term kind of structure that they're going to use going forward. And then cryo, they're framing it as, look, this is your end game activity where you can get the best loot in the game, and you have to be stacked to go in there and really compete for the best loot in the game. So what they're thinking is they don't want to flood the loot pool of the game with everyone just running cryo all the time. The idea is that you gear up during the week, and then over the weekend you get together, do your high-end skill runs, and then kind of reset week after week. Whether you agree with that or not, I'm just telling you what Bungie said. I have my own thoughts on this, but I know, Hogue, we were talking before the show, and from I don't want to paint this in the wrong way, so keep me honest, but from just a player who enjoys Marathon, likes everything we talked about last week, but isn't necessarily trying to get in with the sweatiest of the sweaty and the really high-end competitive aspects of it, feels like cryo may have gone a little too far on the deep end in that sense. Is that fair?
I have certain objections to this. And yeah, to frame it from my perspective, I really like Marathon. I like the old Marathons. I was really surprised how much of the Marathon flavor they got into this game. I've enjoyed playing it. I honestly had a fantastic time playing it with you gentlemen on Wednesday. You actually kind of maybe broke it for me a little bit because I tried to go play it myself after our stream, and I said, well, this isn't as much fun.
Yeah, right?
James running freaking cover for me and Travis running out and getting killed and then me getting killed trying to help.
Whoa.
It did happen. So like that's its own ball of wax, but then I'm seeing this all roll out and I was really excited to get to the Marathon because of course that's where my memories are from the original game. And all this stuff about weekends and making it an event, I think that works for a free-to-play game that you're trying to make a schedule for. But if you've got my $40, I'm investing in your game, I want to grow in it, and you tell me that a quarter of the maps that I purchased I'm not really eligible for because my time doesn't overlap your time so terribly well, I'm a little offended by that. And then you go and you look at the people that are rolling through this thing, and I say, well, this is actively hostile towards my enjoyment of the game. This is not what I am looking for from this experience, and you've made it way too hard for me to engage with. So I have to put it in the bucket that says, okay, that's not for you, Hogue, and you just don't have an end game anymore. You've got your 3 maps, and you're going to love it or you're not. But it's going to very much increase my falling off of it when there's nothing to strive for me personally.
Yeah,
I think that's fair, and I think it's a good comparison to something like we see in ARPGs. Typically, take your Diablos, take your Path of Exile, where obviously you're working towards an end game experience, but that end game experience is accessible to all, right? Regardless of your sure, there's some things you won't be able to do maybe at the very,
I can't get
very
very
peak.
far in the pit, but I can do
right,
it.
but you can at least experience it. And I think what I find interesting about this, even from my perspective as someone who, as I've said, has played this nonstop, and Travis, you touched on some of this before the show, is that you can go into cryo, you can do runs of cryo, and you can still get good loot out of cryo like you would any other map. But to finish cryo, to really do the full experience where you're opening the vaults, and if you don't know anything about this, it's a gigantic labyrinth, Jesus Christ, labyrinthian style map that has a certain order to do things. There's hidden keys, there's RNG involved, and to do it to completion, like we saw the teams racing to do, where you open all these vaults. I think there's 7, right? Open all 7, and then you can get to the major boss called the Compiler and actually fight him. It's like a full-on raid. And I think Astacross, funny enough, Travis, said it best, which I thought was really funny because he was just giving his open thoughts while not playing yesterday morning when he started his stream. And he basically said, look, he said, I've done all the Destiny raids. Obviously, I guess he's a big guy in the community, right? He goes, imagine if Bungie presented you with a new Destiny raid that you had to figure everything out on. He said, but imagine while you're trying to figure that out, every other team's trying to kill you. He said that's basically what this is. It's like a full-on raid map with PvP. And of course, the PvP is higher end because the people going into cryo are the ones who are playing a ton and are stacked, right? They have
to ante 5,000.
They're kitted out. Yeah, which is 5,000 in the late game's like nothing, but still like the one dude's loadout on Astacross's stream, his loadout, not his vault, not his inventory, his loadout was like 78,000. So like, you know, those guys.
How much is your vault worth, Hogue? Is it worth less than that?
My vault is currently worth 11,000.
Yeah, so I mean, again,
I'm carrying 7 Hogue banks on his back.
I think it's a really cool design and late game activity, and I think what's happened is because it's only a week after launch, it's showing something that most players won't get to for months and months and months, but it's showing people that now, and it's almost creating a bit of FOMO, like, oh, I want to go do that cool stuff, but you can't, right? Because you're not there. You're either not in a pro team that plays marathon every single day for 12 hours.
It's like the opposite of FOMO for me. It's like, well, that's not for you. You're never going to see that. You might as well stop.
We'll get you there, Hogue.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit of this is cool. I think they went pretty damn hardcore right out of the gate here. And I will play it and get there and, you know, do it, but it's still a little bit away, even for me. And I'm playing every day for hours. So it's interesting.
Yeah. I'll say, as somebody who's seen Bungie do this exact thing with the Destiny community, I have an interesting perspective because, one, I think the model of only having things like ranked and the cryo archive available during the weekend makes sense. Like, you want to drive people towards specific playlists and you want to make an activity feel special, and it feels special when it has a limited like gateway, and like I get that. And it's you know, it's like with trials, they have trials on the weekend, you jump in on Friday, it creates kind of like a culture of like, this is how you do the event. The inherent offset or trade-off of that is that it's going to mean that some people never get to do it, because like, what if you're not busy on the weekends? What if you have work on every weekend, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Like, you're kind of be screwed for that. And so it kind of assumes a certain like lifestyle or that maybe won't match with your, and that's unfortunately just like how the cookie crumbles on that one. And it's been a problem for forever. And like, they used to do it on Tuesdays, like that was like the big day where they would kick things off, and it pissed people off, and so they started doing it on Fridays. But then even Friday, like a lot of people work on Fridays and they can't do it till Friday weekend or Friday evenings, and so the Friday morning kickoff doesn't feel right. And like, this is an ongoing problem of like this part of live service game design, and it sucks. Like, if you're not there during that period, you're just not going to be able to play it. It's a bummer. In terms of the event, I do think, Ains, you're right that like some people are overhyping just how difficult it is. Because one, people are figuring things out raw, without guides, without
It
any
was the
like
first
help. Like
day,
it's
right?
the first day, right? They haven't figured it out. Two, it's probably at the hardest that it's going to be because Bungie really likes that day one experience to feel completely punishing, to draw people's attention, and it always works. And then what they do in Destiny is that they then put out like an easier version of it where like you don't take as much damage or yada yada. Like there's, I don't know what the solution is for that with Marathon, but the other thing is that yes, every other team's trying to kill you, but there are only 5 teams. And when you kill 4 teams, which I know sounds intimidating at first, but the way the rooms are set up, you're running into them one at a time. Like there's not really a lot of um third partying. I mean, there can be, but it's less likely in the kind of Stoke and
I know
Wheel
what you
thing
mean.
that
The
they've got
structure
going
was
on.
different.
Counting
Yeah.
teams going down while I played with them was like listening to an alien language. It's like it's
Yeah.
always just a surprise gangster fight in an alley for me.
Well, think of it this way, right? Like you know how many times? Where did that come from?
You
know,
times.
you know how many teams spawn on each map, right? And so take and so I didn't want to cut you off here, Travis, but I think this is a good point because on perimeter, first map, 5 teams spawn, right? So there's 15 people, right? You're 3 of them, obviously, if you're a squad.
Mhm.
But if we go in there, Hogue, and we kill 2 teams, we know we've wiped 2 teams, right? You know for a fact at that point, the most people still on the map after exfils or bots or whatever is 6, right? And so it's like a battle royale where you start with 100.
But Cryo doesn't have Rook, importantly, and that's what
No
I
rooks.
wanted. So
Yeah, no rooks.
I'll continue my thing after.
And no duos on Cryo either, right? So like at that point, like a battle royale, as you get down and down and down, right? You go from 100 people to now there's only 20. You mentally know what you're looking for, what you should be thinking about, right? It helps you think about your approach to the situation.
Yeah. So yesterday we were doing runs of Outposts, which only has 4 teams on it. And our strategy was to, at the very beginning of the game, go find all the 3 other teams and kill them immediately. And then we just had the map to ourselves for 20 minutes. That is awesome. Like, and you can not do that exact thing in Cryo Archives, but you can basically get to a point where you've killed all of the teams and there's not that many. There's only 4 other teams, right? Or they've killed each other and you've only killed like 2 teams, but you know that there's no longer 5 teams on the map, right? You're the only ones. And then you have the freedom to like do the PvE part of it. And so I think over a long period of time, Hogue, like you'll graduate from doing Dire Marsh to doing Outpost. Outpost has much better loot. And then once you have that loot coming to you consistently, you'll be like, oh, okay, actually, runs in the Cryo Archive aren't that hard. And then if you have a team that's running Cryo Archive every once in a while during the weekend, you only have to get lucky one of those times. 4 of the teams take each other out, and there's 1 team left, and you get the foot up on them, and then you have Cryo Archive. And so I think it is going to be, like a lot of this game, a little bit of a Sisyphusian task, but I think it will seem a lot more attainable a couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, as people kind of dive into this. Now, how that interacts with like the game wiping,
underestimating the slowness of my progress just a little bit.
Probably, yeah, because you're not level 25 yet, right?
Oh no.
But here's the thing: when you get to level 25, Hogue, you're going to be giddy because they're going to give you a cutscene, and it's going to make you feel like you're in the end game. And then,
have you watched that cutscene, Hogue?
It's so I don't think Hogue's seen it.
Good.
So we need to wait for Hogue to get to level 25, and then
I can just send you a link.
No, I wouldn't
let him get there. Let him get there.
It's just not the way I play video games. Is with like other videos or streams or spoilers.
I don't do it either. So Ains has watched all the streams. I have seen nothing. Everything I know about Cryo Archive, I learned myself. Like I'm just like going in cold because that's how I like to do it. And Ains is the guy who wants to see the pros. Like
no. Don't. Why you? Well, you always frame me in your own perspective. I don't know what this is.
You told me that. You told me that.
I absolutely had the streams on. Yes, but generally speaking, on any game I enjoy, I'm completely dark. I don't like to be told anything.
Okay.
So I don't know how to figure any of the puzzles out. It was just like on the background while I'm cleaning my room. So watch the framing here, sir.
Well, you said that you've not played Cryo Archives and that you know everything about it. So I was taking that.
Well, about the structure of how Bungie developed it, not what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think their blog post talked about the vaults and the keys.
Yeah.
So That's what I
Well,
know. I looked at the Bungie blog.
So the vaults and the keys are like basically an optional mechanic for you to engage with, where the best loot is behind vaults, and then you have to find keys elsewhere in the game and bring them in. But it is not a part. Like when I was doing runs of Cry Archive last night, I did not bring my keys with me. I have keys, but I just didn't bring them because I knew I was going to be dying, and I didn't get a single extraction. So like I'm at that point in yet where I feel like bullish enough to try Cry Archive, but I know anything I bring with me is probably gone because people are kitted out. I'm only level 25. I just got to 25 last night, and the first thing I did was start doing Cry Archive. So like my eyes are bigger than my stomach right now in the game because I'm just catching up after Crimson Desert. But I really want to get to the point where I'm Ains's level and I have Ains's vault and Ains's upgrades. I also don't have any upgrade trees unlocked, so like I'm totally screwed when I go in.
Hugely important too.
I know, and they are. The people have like heat upgrades and they're doing one hit kills with melee, and I don't have any of that stuff. So like I know I'm not going to be successful in Cryo yet, but I really want to get there, and so I'm going to keep playing the game, obviously.
And you need a coordinated team. Like one of the bigger things that has become readily apparent in all this time I've spent, because I play with people who range from like top tier competitive shooter players who make me look bad, all the way to people who just like this game and just are terrible at shooters, right? Everything in between. And what's very clear is if you're going to go into something like Cryo and actually compete, right? Like you really, or Outpost even, and you want to like clear pinwheel and clear teams, you need a team of 3 that knows at least functionally what they're doing. You need some shooter awareness. You need some competency. And like it or not, that's the nature of the game. But I think, I don't want to get on. We talked about it a lot last week. I think that's some of the brilliance of like rook runs and scavenger runs and looting up. And there's other stuff that comes into play there.
No, I really like the learn the map solo runs.
Yeah, that's not an option in Cryo, to be fair. You cannot do rook runs. You can't. It's less accessible than I think. And I think that's always going to be a point of friction for people, especially people who are looking at this as like a game that can be played with a group or alone. Like unless they do a solos Cryo Archive, which they might add. Bungie adds weird stuff like that later on, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Then
I don't think so
either. you're gonna be a little locked out of it. But as you said, Hogue, you had more fun playing with us.
I did.
Ains and I will play with you again. And I will say, as somebody who plays multiplayer games primarily, like when in my free time when I'm not doing reviews, I'm usually playing a multiplayer game. Like hearing your voice and the excitement in your voice while we were playing together was so apparent. And I was like, Hogue doesn't get this. Like, this is a treat. Like he's playing with his friends online, and it's like blowing his mind right now. And so it was really cool to like hear how excited you were.
You just see somebody out in the woods, and then like Ains fires a sniper rifle over your shoulder and he just dies in front of you. And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was fun when we were in Complex on Marsh. And we were in the building, and the guys pushed in. I can picture it. Like I play these games every day, right? So Travis pushed out left behind this wall, took this one guy down. Hogue you were next to me, Hogue. You were like crouching here, just kind of looking out the window. I was like, all right, I'll go right. And we basically triangulated this guy. And Travis like got this guy down. I'm like, yeah, I got the one right down. And then we basically just pushed on the third and killed him. And Hogue's like, wait, you killed them all? We're like, yeah, they're down. We're good.
Yeah, we're like, oh, get this loot, get this blue backpack, get this blue shield. Yeah.
But it is, Hogue. It's that's the addicting part, right? There's tons of ups and downs in competitive multiplayer, but that's
also I think
excitement that I get in playing those games with friends.
And my favorite part of the stream was when look at these dogs going crazy on Ains.
I know he's driving me nuts.
My favorite part of the stream was when we were in Outpost and things were getting sweaty, Ains, and you and I were like doing call outs and killing people and being like trying to coordinate. And then we turn around and we're like, Hogue, what are you doing? And Hogue's like, there's a museum. wait, I could learn about the lore. And he's like clicking buttons and like listening to audio recordings. And Ains and I are like, we need to get out of here. Like there's teams coming on. Hey, Hogue, did you grab the loot? And you're like, look,
because you guys are like, well, they're definitely going to push from the left and we got to go this way. And you sound like a SWAT team. And I'm just like,
yeah.
All right, I'll be right behind you.
He's like, wait, you can listen to exhibit audio?
Yeah, he's like, wait, hold on, guys. We're like, Hogue, you need to grab that loot and we need to get out of here. And he's like, wait, I want to. He's like clicking buttons. Like,
no, you say it like that, but Ains is like, do you have your stacks? Are you stacked? And I'm like, what?
You know what's funny is
let's making sure you had heals. You have to have heals, stacks of heals.
Do you guys use the phrase "goop" in this
Goop?
game? Goop?
No, not
Okay.
usually.
All right.
Yeah.
This is a term I've discovered because of Marathon, but like the groups I played, they're like, all right, I'm gooped up, like, which means I have good loot. I've got goop.
Okay.
I don't know where it came from, but I hear that a lot. And I was like, the call outs and terminology in these games is always funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
No, I appreciate that my mics were not on the stream because you would have heard all this. So whatever Ains actually transmitted in response to Travis and Hogue is all you get. But
I know
we had fun.
it sucked. We really tried. There's some setting. Anyone watching Bitcast, you may be able to help us, right? Like I was streaming on Twitch. Hogue was on PlayStation. Travis was on Xbox, but we were together. And I know there's some setting somewhere that allows the voices of the others to come through. I was in OBS Studio, tried everything, tried game audio, tried chat audio, tried switching the speakers, tried Discord. None of it would work to bring their voices through, and I don't know why. So if anyone can help me figure that out, because we'd like to do this again. It was a lot of fun, but I want your guys' voices, obviously, like this, to come through while we're playing. It's not the same just hearing me. No one wants to just hear me. So
it is weird when you're like responding to us, and it sounds like you're talking to voices in your head.
I know.
Well, you all did miss Travis doing random lyrics of songs I don't recognize at all.
So. We're not going to repeat the one song of this show right now. I can tell you that much.
It was pretty fun. It was fun. I do tend to sing when I'm playing multiplayer games. I get very into it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
It was a very fun
good
time.
runs. We had some good runs.
Yeah, we did. But anyway,
it was a very productive day for me.
Marathon's good, and Hogue, my takeaway is don't believe the day one raid race and the streamer experience is going to be the experience for everyone else. Like they're doing a hot dog eating contest, and you're just a guy ordering a hot dog, and you're both going to get to the end. You're both going to eat the same number of hot dogs. It's just going to take you a little while. They're sprinting, and you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you allaying my fears. I really did feel watching this all happen. I was like, well, that is definitely not for me. And then it did just feel like the end game got cut off. Like it just felt like the rest of the game got cut off. So hopefully I can experience it in some way because I do love the marathon.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Once you get to level 25, you'll feel like you're not cut off from it. But
yeah. I was going to say it is at least interesting to me that they went so heavy on the back end, right? The end game raid like mechanic so early in its release. Personally, for me, I really like to see a fourth map that's more in line with the other three maps. Obviously, Cryo's there now, and it can be its own thing from an end game perspective. But I'm hoping they do a fourth map by season 2 or whatever, like a new location, which I'm sure they will, obviously. But
well, I don't know what their plans are, but it is pretty prominent in their description of Cryo Archive that it's the first floor of the marathon.
Yeah, it's someone put a map of it. So the marathon, if it's like this big, Cryo is like that. It's like the smallest slice of marathon. And Hogue, when you actually have you been on marathon since we streamed?
Have I played it?
Yeah.
I did. I definitely turned it on. It's been basketball tournament weekend, so mostly basketball for me, but I definitely turned it on after our stream.
Okay, so if you haven't seen the video Travis is referencing, just go into the game and hit prepare to run. It plays automatically, whether you're doing cryo or not.
You have to be level 25. He's not there yet.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. That's why you haven't seen it. Okay. Yeah, it just plays even if you don't do cryo. It introduces you to the marathon and the video.
And then it gives you the stuff you need to go and try cryo, and you can try it for free. Like it's like a first one's free kid type
gives
of situation.
You a loadout you can use.
Gives you a loadout for free. It's pretty sick. So
all blue, I think, like blue loadout.
I just feel bad for the people at Tau Ceti. I want to help them. And since I went and saw Hail Mary this weekend, Tau Ceti's just in a lot of trouble all over the place.
I'm going to go see Hail Mary right after the show.
Where are the people on Tau Ceti? Explain.
Where are the people on Tau Ceti?
I see them floating in the anomaly. You know, I see them there. That's about it.
Look, I just want to get to the marathon. I wanted to have a chat with Durandal, see how he's doing.
That will happen if you keep playing.
Yeah. We'll move on from that. We've talked about that quite a bit. But yeah, the stream is out there. Like I said, it's in the link if you want to check it out. We had some laughs. So any other game you want to call out, boys? Hogue, you have any notes or anything you want to touch on real quick?
I do. I have one that I definitely want to recommend specifically to you two gentlemen. I didn't do Hogue's notes last week, so I think I have one from last week as well. But the one I wanted to mention to you guys, since you're constantly telling me about your love of Morrowind, is an open world indie game that came to Switch and I think all platforms this last week that is dressed up basically like a boomer shooter in terms of graphics, like an old one, but takes place in an open world RPG that is weird and well written and reminds me a lot of Morrowind, called Dread Delusion.
Oh, I know this game. We reviewed it.
Nice. All right, Ains, then you review this game.
I did. I didn't review it. Someone at SG reviewed it, but go on, please.
Oh, yeah. So Dread Delusion is a Elder Scrolls by way of indie sensibility.
Whoa, this is weird.
Without as quite a deep role-playing system. So instead of XP, you're collecting like collectibles to gain levels and skills. But what I wanted to speak for it on is that it's really well written, has really interesting characters and a world, and just constantly has interesting side characters to meet and side quests to do that really feels rewarding like an Elder Scrolls game. You have to have a certain amount of appetite for graphics that are well below even standard indie norms right now. But I think that's worth it for the kind of expansive story world that you get in a game like this. So Dread Delusion is the one I wanted to call out the most. The other one that I wanted to call out that I hadn't referenced before is that Tribute Games made a new Scott Pilgrim that I've been enjoying for the last few weeks that I think was easy to miss because the title is awful. It's Scott Pilgrim EX, or I think more specifically it's Scott Pilgrim X, but it looks for the world like it's a remake of Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. It is not. It's a brand new Scott Pilgrim game. Lots of different characters, awesome pixel graphics like Tribute does with Shredder's Revenge and the Marvel Cosmic game that I can't remember the name of. But just really, really fun. Very much the same kind of River City Ransom vibes of the Scott Pilgrim Saves the World game, but thoroughly enjoying it. Could not recommend it more if you like that kind of game. Those are the two I wanted to call out in my notes.
Cosmic Invasion, I believe.
Cosmic Invasion, thank you.
Yeah, so Dread Delusion, I had to go back and look. So we reviewed it in May of 24. So almost 2 years ago now. Yes, so we reviewed it in its very early kind of development cycle, if you will, right when it first came out on PC only. So they've continued to tune that, and as you said, it just released on consoles recently, I believe, because I remember seeing the PR email about it. But that's cool to hear that it has improved quite a bit. We gave it a 6. Ray reviewed that for us at the time, but he said it was still compelling. So I would imagine with a couple more years dev time and some polish, it's probably a pretty cool little game now.
It is. It is. I mean, the combat is nothing to write home about. You're just swinging your little floating sword in front of you. But I was really impressed by the side stories and the writing.
Cool.
So the opposite of Crimson Desert.
Nothing to write home about must refer to like war, right? Like when you're off to war times.
I think it's probably vacations, but it could be war.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. What's the origin of that phrase? Someone check it out.
I'm just wondering because I can imagine you were in a war fight and you thought even that wasn't like worthy enough to like write about it. You're like, those guys didn't really stick with me, you know?
Sorry.
I hope it's
your brain goes into interesting places.
Shout out, by the way. Good call out, Gentle Stone. Our good friend Luke over at Xbox Expansion Pass did interview the Tribute Games. Someone from there, I forget who, on Scott Pilgrim. So you can check that out, actually.
Well, I had a joking interaction with one of their marketing people on Twitter where I was saying that this title is as bad as the Wii U in terms of knowing that it's a new game.
Nice.
And they said it's referring to Scott Pilgrim. It's Ramona Flowers' exes. You get to play as them now. It's like, I get it. It just doesn't make it a smart title.
Yeah. Fair. Go, Travis.
It's World War I.
Okay.
Which means they were in wars that they were just like, wasn't that good of a war battle? You know what I mean? Like they were like, I'll just skip that one. I'll give them the highlights only. That's great self-editing to know when like your fight wasn't that, you know.
I still imagine it's more like the beer at the local bar isn't anything to write home about more than the battle. But hey,
but the origin. I mean, for everything I know about World War I, there were like large periods of boring, You know what I mean? You're just bunkered down, stalemated. So
large periods of boring.
Yeah. Like your war is just spread out with large periods of not a lot going on. Like that's pretty,
I think the constant existential dread was the problem.
Yeah, but even that was nothing to write home about. I mean, that's pretty, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. So we did hear this week from the team at Bethesda on Starfield, which we haven't talked about since review time, which was now coming up on 2 years ago. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
So Starfield has a free update called Free Lanes, which does some things to the game and additions and updates. But more importantly, they have an expansion coming next month. Well, actually, 2 weeks. Called Terran Armada, which is the next expansion for Starfield, and it's coming out the same day that it also releases on PlayStation 5 on
It's so
April
funny to watch
7th.
them finish this game. Like, these expansions are exactly the holes where the lore is.
Yeah, this is a weird one for sure. So we talked a lot about Starfield at the time. This is kind of interesting to your point, Hogue, that they're kind of fleshing this out more and making it this broader experience that I think was obviously expected at launch. But anyway, it comes out April 7th, $50 on PlayStation, and it includes the expansions and stuff. It is enhanced for PS5 Pro. I guess my question for you guys is, any interest in going back to Starfield?
100% yes for me. But the only thing I would change on your intro there
is
that I think that the free lanes is probably the more important aspect of this. As I understand it, they're putting the direct planetary travel in that everybody complained about on the original launch. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty big shift into how the systems have to operate for interplanetary travel. And I think it really could be an impactful one if they made it seem a little bit more seamless. Because the biggest issue with Starfield is that at least to me, it could wind up feeling like you were transitioning between loading screens the whole time, and it can break your immersion for traversing this universe. And so if they fix that just a little bit, I think more people are going to connect with it. I think Starfield is a good game. It's not a great game. And I really disliked the Snake People expansion, so I'm not really holding out for the Earth People expansion, but I hope it's awesome. I want Starfield to be better than it is.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, by the way, looped back to did you guys finish that game or play it more than after the conversations we had? Because I remember I was like, I'm at a 7, you guys will be 2 after you play 100 hours, and then I don't think I ever got an update on if you even got that far.
No, Starfield is my now traditional halfway through, I've got other things to do, drop off.
Classic.
I was about
little
40
Xenoblade
hours.
3 action. Yeah.
Little Xenoblade 3 action, but I like Xenoblade 3 more.
Oh, Xenoblade 3 is a much better game. But I'm just wondering if you guys ever came around on because you guys fought me pretty hard on the 7 out of 10 thing. Do you guys think it's still better than that?
Did we fight you that hard?
Yes.
I feel
I know you got fought pretty hard. Are you saying Hogue and I?
No, you guys fought me pretty hard. That you thought everybody was being a little. I mean, you can watch the videos. I have a very good memory of us of me being combative with you guys about the 7 out of 10 because you guys were like, no way, and I was
feel
play
it's
more,
more
play
than
more.
A 7. Yeah, I still feel it's more than a 7, but I didn't get to that grind out at the end. Like you were saying that it was just difficult to get the ships up to speed, and a lot of the building stuff took too much. It's I never got to that point, and that's the kind of thing that broke me with Fallout 4. So I could see it breaking me if I had to get to that to progress through the game.
Yeah,
same. I will say, Travis, I think, as we joke, it's probably going to happen with Crimson Desert too, right? Hindsight, once people actually have the time over weeks and months to put into the game, that big games like this get reviewed. We just had this conversation, right? Hindsight starts to reflect a little bit. There's more people I see now saying Starfield was a 7 or maybe a high 7 to an 8 than at launch, where everyone's like, how could you give this game a 7? You know what I mean? That happens.
Yeah. I actually saw a comment on a subreddit that when IGN 6 came out, my 6 came out, where somebody commented on that and said, hey guys, remember IGN gave Starfield a 7. They don't always fall for the hype train. So maybe don't talk shit yet. I was hey, somebody remembered. We did give Starfield a 7. So That's one.
Anyway,
my answer to your question is no. I will not be going back to the game. I hope that it improves, but they would have to improve a whole lot. It would have to be like a basically No Man's Sky, 2.0 coming out party for me to be invested, and it doesn't really feel like this is it. But I also have been completely off. I've not followed this at all, so I just learned for the first time about the stuff you guys told me. Like I didn't know about.
Okay.
It, so
okay. Yeah. Real quick, we've had a few more comments on our mics and stuff. So if you weren't here earlier, Hogue was having headset issues. We're using a combination of speakers and mic. We've tried to tune it, but there is some reflection. There is some sound difference. So sorry about that in advance.
Yeah, and I just tried to boost my gain. So if anybody was having difficulty hearing me.
Okay. All right. I'm not going back to this game. There's too many big games to play. We are getting a little more echo now, Hogue, just for awareness.
Probably because you turned up the game. Yeah, it's going to cause more echo.
But yeah, I'm not going back to this game. There's too many big things to play and too much time. If they continue to update this for years to come, and then there's a whole bunch of mods, maybe I revisit it down the line, but no time soon. Real quick, we got a few more pieces of info here on news. So we got a release date for Vampire Crawlers, Hogue, which you updated me on. You seem to really like. So April 21st. So it's less than a month away as we record today.
Yeah, and it's a unified release, so I think it's all the consoles and PC.
Cool. So that should be another big hit for what's the guy's name who made that game?
That's gonna hit like crack cocaine for a certain gamer. I mean, you could tell that from the Steam the Next Fest demo. It's gonna work for a lot of people.
100%.
What game? Sorry, I missed it.
Vampire Crawlers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What's the guy's name? I forget his damn name.
Todd Howard.
I don't think I know the vampire guy.
It's another one guy, right? Like it's kind of like the Balacho guy.
I honestly don't know.
It's one guy who made that. You can look it up real quick.
I can look it up real quick. We'll do.
Yeah, someone who's the vampire survivor guy. It's like a T or something.
It's only listed as Ponkle. I'm not sure if
that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Ponkle. That's what he goes by.
Classic name.
Yeah. So
that's no concerned ape.
Adds to cross.
We did get out of nowhere on Friday. We got a trailer for Minecraft Dungeons 2 coming to all platforms this year. So that includes Switch 2, PlayStation, Xbox PC. Minecraft Dungeons was a cool little game, man. I think if they expand that, add more content, it could be a little Diablo light. I've already had a few friends who said their kids love Minecraft Dungeons. So pretty cool to just randomly get this announcement out of nowhere from Xbox.
Those are funny because, I saw this the other day and I was like, did I just miss that existed? And I just assumed that I did because it's not exactly aimed at me. It's like, nope, we just announced it right then. Okay, well, Dungeons was fine. I get it confused with like one of the other spin-off names, Adventures. No, I think Adventures was the Telltale game, right?
I don't remember. Yeah, I know what you mean, though.
There's some like Minecraft, like almost real-time combat thing that is not Dungeons that I can't remember the name of. But Legends says the chat. That's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's it. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what this shapes up to be. The trailer wasn't really much of anything other than it's coming. So we'll see.
On the Minecraft side of things, my youngest daughter is almost clinically addicted to Pokemon raising in Pokopia. Okay. So we haven't talked about it in a couple weeks, but that thing is going to be huge with a certain sect. That is a crazy game for people to engage with. Just huge amounts of content. They're Crimson Desert.
Crimson Desert for cozy boys.
Like she's putting up a power grid. She's building a restaurant. I mean, every time I pop in my head, it's like, what is in this thing?
She's also playing Pokopia separately from that stuff.
Yeah.
Building the power
very
grid.
Productive. Very productive little host.
She's a very, enterprising young lady, his daughter.
True.
So I didn't know if you guys saw this, but not shockingly, wrong word. But today, literally today, on March 22nd, is the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. Resident Evil 1 released in Japan, Biohazard, on March 22nd, 1996.
See, I want the North American timing because, like, when I know
a week later is April 1st.
Okay, I have memories of buying it on release day because I was excited about it because I loved Alone in the Dark.
Yep.
Seasoned
I was
fans.
alive in 1996.
Yeah, we talked about it, but it's pretty crazy to think Resident Evil's 30 years old now. I mean, we knew that obviously with all the celebration with Requiem and everything else, but man, kind of crazy. And I didn't realize, Travis, that I knew there was a new, more serious Resident Evil movie coming. I didn't realize it was the director of Barbarian and Weapons that's doing it. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's
Is that Zach Kreger?
Zach Kreger, now Oscar-winning guy who used to just be a comedian. I knew. Crazy how much that guy blew up.
The Weapons didn't win for anything on the direction side.
No, but I mean, he's a director of an Oscar-winning movie, right? That's Weapons. I don't know. I feel like that gets you pretty far.
Weapons was awesome. Barbarian, I think, was overrated, but
it's funny. I would flip those.
Seeing as he started as the guy who used to make like skits about jerking, the slow jerk, like he's really come a long way.
That's good for him.
Both Weapons and Barbarian have certain skit qualities to them.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They sure do.
What else we got to touch on here real quick? CD Projekt Red announced, and this is kind of funny, exact numbers of the amount of developers working on their projects. So 499, not 500, 499 developers are now working on Witcher 4 full-time. And they have 149, not 150, developers working on Cyberpunk 2. So they came out. Do
you think if you were
I'm
the CEO of Cyberpunk, you just hire one more person just to do it?
No, you see, this is the corporate lawyer in me that says, okay, so you're trying to fall under thresholds for insurance or regulations of some kind, and you want it clear that you did not pass 150 and 500.
Be interested to see if Poland has some laws in that vein.
Oh,
right?
Poland has some laws for sure.
Well, I know, but,
I don't know what they are, but yeah, I know they're. It's a different world out there.
But 500 devs working on Witcher 4 full time. I think they started pre-production like 2023, 2024. So that game's probably moving along.
I thought you said 499. First of all, it's not 500. It's 499. Secondly, I thought you said 499 at the whole company. So wouldn't it be minus the 149 working?
No. 499 working on Witcher 4.
On Witcher? Holy shit. So there are almost 700 people?
They're more than that because they have 2 other projects in flight too. So
oh
CDPR is a big studio. Yeah, they're big, man.
Wait, what are their other 2 projects?
They have a separate Witcher project going, and they have a separate. They timeline this out like 6 months.
Thronebreaker 2?
No, it's like a Witcher 1 remake, and
that's
Witcher
partnering with another studio.
Overdue.
Yep,
and like a Witcher Unknown. I don't think we've gotten all the info on it.
Yeah, it's other stuff, but yeah, I mean and then that's devs, right? So you got to figure you've got your executives and everyone else, so you're probably near 1,000-person studio.
Yeah. Imagine working at CD Projekt Red and not working on The Witcher or Cyberpunk and having to like how annoying that must be to explain to people. You're like at a restaurant and they find out you work there and you're like, no, I don't do The Witcher. What do you work on? Actually, it's something else. Yeah, and then they just don't believe you work there.
Last thing I want to touch on, and Hogue, you can touch on this for me because I don't know anything about it, but you mentioned before we went live about there being some regulations on the classification of games based on whether or not they have loot boxes, and the EU or PEGI breaking from the ESRB here. So hit us with that info real quick anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think people that are familiar with some of the stuff that we've seen in rating of video games and some of the controversies surrounding, like, I believe it was PEGI that originally rated Balatro as essentially an adults-only game because it supported gambling, and this wound up being a fight because Balatro isn't a gambling game, even though it looks like a video poker machine. And, like, this became a whole thing. Well, in the background of those kinds of conversations, PEGI and the European Union in general have been looking at whether or not they want to have everything that kind of relates to the real world economy that uses some of the kind of dopamine triggers that we talk about with slot machines and everything else and free to play and otherwise be rated as adults only instead of reflecting just, is it something violent? Is it something sexual? Is there swearing or what have you? And so PEGI has come out and said, we're going to start saying loot boxes are automatically our highest rating, which I think is 18 plus. And some other changes that relate to some other European Union kind of restrictions. And the ESRB was very quick to say, nope, we're not doing any of that. We are only going to rate based on the content and context of the video game in front of us and not the mechanisms and economies that go around it. Because to otherwise do so, and I tend to agree with the ESRB on this, is to dilute the messaging that is really directed at parents to know what it is that they're buying for their kids. So if we just say everything that has this kind of mechanic is 18 plus, we lose resolution on what certain parents are actually going to care about when they're deciding whether to buy an M-rated game or not for their kids. That's the argument on the ESRB side. But what's more important from a kind of global video game side is that we haven't before seen this kind of separation from the major regulators. And so that is interesting, right? You are more likely now to have a game that is going to have a rating in the European Union that is pretty significantly different from the rating that it might have in North America. And that's going to lead to certain strange arbitrage in markets in the video game world that we can't fully anticipate sitting right here. And I think this is the kind of thing that fascinates me, right? This is why virtual legality exists in the first place. But I don't know how interested the chat is in these kinds of things, but I think you are going to see some interesting things happen out of this particular story.
Reminds me, I mean, I just have memories of growing up and reading about games that would release in, say, Japan, but not here, or other things, not necessarily from localization, but due to content, or release here and not there, you know, so vice versa. What's that one game? Was it Thrill Kill? Many years ago that only got released in certain markets because of how adult or violent it was. You know, it feels like that kind of stuff all over again.
Yeah, no, that was much more prominent in the 90s of all these kinds of discussions and what was going to be allowed in the Night Trap and Mortal Kombat hearings and the ESRB being formed in the first place. So if our politicians in the US decide that PEGI has the right of it, you might see the same kind of pressures we saw back in the 90s on the ESRBs of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out.
Wasn't Thrill Kill, by the way. That's a canceled game that was violent but got canceled. I'm thinking of something else, but there were games like that, so kind of interesting. Anyway, I think, boys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I think from an SG side of the house, we, as most places do, have our marathon review in progress up. Now that Cryo and Ranked out, we'll start to finalize that review here soon, so that may be finalized this week. A couple other things to cover this week, which you'll see some things I can talk about, or can't talk about, excuse me. So more to come really soon on that. But otherwise, I'll pass to you guys. So Travis, I'll pass to you first.
Yeah, my full review of Crimson Desert is now live. I have some supplemental content coming out. If you're playing that game, guides and whatnot. How to train your dragon is one of them, which will be fun.
You should call it that. You should see if you can get a letter from DreamWorks.
I actually did call it that. It's a guide on how to get the dragon, so I called it How to Gain Your Dragon.
Nice.
Is the name of the
Of course
guide.
you did.
That's
a good one.
But yeah, you can read that. I've also got my review in progress of Marathon. It's a little old. I haven't updated it since the game came out, so it's purely based off of my server slam playtime, which probably needs updating. But I'm just going to be playing a lot of Marathon and trying to get that out. And then I've also got an incoming announcements, which will probably be announced on April 2nd for IGN First for April, which I'm the editorial lead on, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of news to share next month. So
nice.
Funny, my brain completely spun out on that because I was going to make the joke that you were going to announce a pregnancy, and then you said it was IGN First. Was it IGN First is going to announce Travis's baby? It's like, no, that doesn't seem like
there will be no baby announcements coming from me at any point in my life, so you can just go ahead and cross that one off your list.
All right, well, that was
there will
be
be
the
plenty
joke.
of IGN First announcements.
Well, I think that would really set the bar for an IGN First if you announce a human being.
That would be true. Yeah, it's true. Now playable.
I have an inkling. He hasn't told us, by the way. Hogan, I don't know what this IGN First is. He's very guarded about these things. I do have an inkling, though, Travis. So I wonder.
I think I know what your inkling is. Yeah.
Hogue, what you got, man?
Yes. Well, people that are interested in my commentary and personality can find me on Twitter/X, defending IGN reviewers and celebrating my Michigan Wolverines basketball victories and reviewing Project Hail Mary. If any of that interests you, come see me on the social media hellscape that is X. Otherwise, I'm not otherwise contributing to the discourse at all. So sorry about that. I'll be back soon, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Chat, thank you as always. Hope you're enjoying whatever the heck you're playing, be it Crimson Desert Marathon or the millions of other games out there. And we missed a super chat. Damn it.
Oh, let's hit it.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mike. I apologize. Let's get this before we close out. Travis,
we gotta wake Travis back up. Hang on, reboot.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading comments. From RMI EX, a 2 pound super chat. Crimson Desert, in my opinion, is a well marketed mid game. Kind of in that. I'm in that same vein.
Definitely well marketed. I mean, or well hyped. Whatever word you want to use there. Selling well.
I'll admit the 5-6 part of the grade scale for IGN is the hardest one for me. Okay and mediocre are like almost synonyms for me.
They are.
Mediocre does have a worse connotation. But yeah, that is a tough one for me to navigate. I do think
I couldn't tell you which number is which.
Mediocre is 5. It's below okay. Yeah.
Mediocre is below okay.
Yeah, it is. And if you read the description, and I've also looked up the definition of mediocre to see if that makes sense, and I recall thinking that it did, but it is close, right? Like we can agree they're pretty close. So that is a tough one for me. But yeah, a mid I think is a good descriptor for Crimson Desert. My thoughts on Crimson Desert overall.
You heard it here first, folks. IGN changing out mediocre for mid.
I mean, that mediocre. Let's just combine them.
That's going right in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Honestly, if I were like popular enough and I said mediocre, it would for sure become a word. Like that's just how it works now.
Yeah, that's true. Mike, thank you for the super chat. Apologies for getting to it late. Sorry about that. Sometimes they hide from us in the software here. I apologize. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week of gaming, and we will see you next Sunday. Until then, peace.